Howdy! We're going to get started here on the Titan 1M. This is our first Titan building blocks project, and to get better prepared. So we're just going to follow all his videos, CAD, CAM, and watch the machining. But we have to do some setups here. So first thing we want to do, I just have a picture of, this is what we call Operation 1 here. And you're going to build all these operations after you do the design. But we need tools and we need a post processor, we call it. So in your Fusion, you're going to become a member of the team STC CNC machining, but you'll have your own storage area. But if you're working on projects in school, and you're going to want to be working out of the team folder, because I won't be able to review them or be able to comment on them easily. So in this case, in this example here, we have like a CNC Machinist 2021 folder. This is everybody's working on folders in here. Sometimes things end up out of place, but we can get into managing that. There's a school assets directory. You're going to be taking some courses, and the assets will be placed in here for easy use. And I'm building a Fusion class, and there's one on drawing, so there's different categories here. And you won't see all of these. This is mine. This is my Titans of CNC directory. So you're going to see the assets, you're going to see your school folder, and you're going to see, might be open share, I think, this one. That'll be the three. So, okay, so this team means we can, I can see your files and we can see them easily. So first thing is where stuff is stored. So if you're in your own user here, I'm just going to save this for now. Alright, so if I go switch to, this is my individual folder, and if you hit the home button here, you'll have these assets. Now if you're missing some folders, make sure it says all projects right here. But I'm pretty much working in the team side, so I don't really have much here. But this asset directory, this is very important. In the assets, you're going to have two areas. One's called CAM Tools, and this is where you're going to put your tools that you're going to work out of. Now, Titan has building block tools you can download, but we're going to provide you with the STC tools. And CAM Post. Now these will be for the machine, so we'll just be using the STC Haas Classic Mill for the milling projects. So that's the only two things you're going to have to install, and I can assist you with that. So let's go back to the team directory. So go back up to here, and this will switch back. Now you're in the team directory. And this is always going to default to the last place you were at. If you hit home, this is going to be your home view. And also, if you went up to here and you clicked on this button here, this will bring you to the web storage. This is where they're all stored on the web. So I'm the team organizer, so I have access to everything, where you might only have access to a couple of these. So this is where everything's stored technically. So you can pull things out of here, but I'll tell you the cloud storage is very easy to use. You won't be using any of these anymore unless you're machining. You just store your files on this and bring it to the machine. Everything will be stored here. Okay, let me get back into my Fusion side here. Alright, let me just do a quick demonstration. Where is my Titans of CNC? These are the ones I've been working on. And I try to organize them. I give them their own folders and names. I probably have a couple that too many right now, but and they'll also have a timestamp. It's got a date and they'll say version 15. So actually, it gives like who did. I did all of these and the updates. So if you needed to go back to a previous version, you could click on that. All right, I'm going to open this one by clicking on it. There we go. And close this out. I give myself a little more space if I need it. So you're going to start from the design side. This is design side. And follow all those tutorials. And then you're going to go to the manufacturer side, which we call this a CAD CAM system. The design side is CAD, computer aided design, and the manufacturer is computer aided manufacturing. So if you hear that term. So I'm going to switch to manufacturer, and then you're going to build all these operations from setup and choosing some operations up here. Now if this one is, you need to draw tools out of it. So up here it says tool library right here. If you hit manage, these are up top is the popular ones. So you can hit tool library, or you can pull it from here. So your tool library, we're going to store them in the cloud. Now I have a bunch of them here that I'm working on, but we'll be using the STC Titan BB aluminum tools. And here's the original one right here. So we built this one out of the original. And you can sort them up here by like milling tools and even by what type they are. But in this case, there are only, I don't know, 10 or so there. And if I, personally, when I look through this, if I click on diameter, it'll sort by diameter. So I'm looking for the 0.5 or half-inch end mill. I see there's a ball mill and a flat end mill. This is the one we're going to use the most, so I would pick that one. And down here it says cutting data, default presets, and these are add-ons. So depending on operation, you're just going to pick, you can pick here or you can pick by after you've installed the tool. So in this case, let me take, let me pick one that has not been done. So you can actually have multiple files opened up at the same time. So I'm going to choose this one here. And I could literally delete all the operations. Okay, it was updating, so I just let it update. And this, if the eyeball's on, that's viewable, and that's not viewable. So in this case, I'm going to delete. Yeah, all those are gone now. Gone forever. Okay. Now this is upside down right now. I'm going to hit this home view, and this is the isometric view of the top. And this is top view, home view. All right, so I have nothing there. I'm in inch. I already did my model. I only have one body right there. And I can turn it on and off. And the sketches. So, but you cannot design from this side. You have to switch back. Okay. So you've installed your tool library, and we're going to do a setup. We're going to do setup, new setup. And we're going to orient the setup. And we're going to stick with the Titan method. We go model orientation. So we want the Z-axis to be facing up. So you can select one of these, and usually we select Z and X. Right? And then they're saying Z and X, pick one to face up. So you can pick, it says Z-axis. If I flip it, it just goes the opposite direction. So, but I want it to point up. So my method is pick something that's pointing up, and now it's pointing up. And Z up, X to the right. Now I'm going to align to the box point, but I'm not going to use stock. I'm going to use model box point, so we stay aligned to Titan's method. So it says model origin. So I'm going to click this corner right here. And sometimes it doesn't want to click on that, so I think it's also the model origin. So there you go. And you can see right there it's aligned with the model, not the stock. That's how we're going to do it. The next thing we're going to do is set the stock size, and he'll walk you all through that. And this says you're only going to use these 2 boxes. And later on we'll do from solid, but these are all round objects, so you won't be doing that until you get to the lathe. So we'll do relative size box, and down here we want these to add up to standard material sizes. So this says 1.98, that's the width, that's this direction. So if we do side stock and put it like 0.05, and then that becomes 2, that will work. The top offset, we're just going to make it very small, 0.02, and I hit enter too early. So I'm not done yet. I have to go back in there. And I want the bottom offset to be 0.23. And that adds up to 1 inch. So what happens is we have material on the bottom to hold on with, so we can machine around the whole thing. We want to be able to create 5 sides of the part in one operation, and then we'll eventually flip it over and machine the other side. So the 4.1 would be what you're cutting it off in the saw. And a common mistake when you're at the saw is cutting them too close to the 4.1. You always want to be a little oversized, because if you cut these too short, you won't get machine surface all the way around. And the third tab, which is often missed all the time, we want to put a program number in there and a comment. The default's 1001, and that works just fine for us. And up here you want to put in your projects, because if we're all working together, then you want to know that the program that's in the machine is your program. So I'm going to put in here Titan 1M Op1 and my initials. And we're going to leave this WCS offset at 0. Okay. So there's our material. So the first operation we're going to do is face mill, and then we have to select a tool. Now we have our new tool library, and it says right up here, I actually have 2 operations open, so this can get confusing. So let me just hit cancel for a second, and I'm going to close that one. So I only have 1. So I'm going to go back to 2D face, and I got 5 tabs up here. I'm going to hit select and find a tool. So I'm going to go into my building block aluminum library, and he wants you to use the 3-inch cutter. So we're going to pick the 3-inch cutter, and right down here I can actually just pick face mill right now. Hit select, and all the feeds and speeds are already set up. Let me actually move my head out of the way here. Okay, all these feeds and speeds. Now he'll have you hand typing some stuff in, but we can just bypass that and talk about that later, because right up here it says face mill. Now if you forget to select it, you can select it right from here. And then we'll just do the other operations like stock. It identifies the stock because we measured it correctly. We're going to use model top for all the heights. All right. And if anything appears red, that means this might be an issue. And the bottom model top, the bottom height will be the top surface. And on this one, we'll do both ways, even though it only needs 1 cut. And I always like putting on extend before retract. I hit OK, and it shows the motion. This goes down, cuts across. So if I were to turn on simulate right here, and I can use comparison or I like operation, and I put my tool as transparent so I can see through it, and you can shut the tool path off or use tail. Tail's a pretty good selection. And I'll press play. Alright. So that would cut the top. So notice you can see the sketch now, right? So the next one we'll do is 3D adaptive clearing. And the first thing we gotta do is select a tool. I'm going to go to the building block aluminum tools. And that one, let's narrow it down by milling. And that one is the 3/8 3-flute end mill. So I select that one, and maybe I'm in a hurry, I just select it right away. And here's all the RPMs, so I'm like, oh, I forgot to do that. I want to hand type them in. You don't need to do that. This is an adaptive operation, so I'm going to select adaptive. And there's all my feed and speed, 6,000 RPM. And later on we'll get a discussion about what these all mean. So I have stock and rest machining like Titan told me to do. I'm going to set all these at model top. And this will be model bottom, and I think he says 0.01 negative. And all these stock to leave will be set. The optimal load will be set. We'll just leave that one alone. That's what we call, if you hover over this, it'll give you a little diagram of what that operation is doing. Those blue lines are what we call step over. And personally, I like putting in stay down 70% and adding in a lift height of 0.01 and 400 inches a minute will be fine. Okay, and then if you can't, you have a small screen, just shrink some of these up and then hit the OK button. And it's actually, this has to take some calculation, so it takes a minute. And there's operation 2. So if I turn this on, you can see where the tool path would be. So let's simulate both of them. You can simulate, make sure this is checked. If you're only on this one, you're only going to get that tool only. You could do it here, or you can do it right here. It says simulate. And now press play. And I'm going to cut the torque. And we're going to get the next tool and starts cutting the outsides. But we've taken away a little bit of talk about the feed and speed data, and we'll dig into that later. How can we adjust all these? But these are kind of a good starting point for our machines. We have machines that run from 6,000 to 10,000 RPM. So we're going to use the range of the lowest machine, which is it's actually going to be better than better start. So this is, you can see right away, it's chopping away there and to the end. So this will give you, and notice how it's got all, it's all roughed out, and you can see those black lines represent the finished side. So this is leaving oversized material, but that'll be the operation 1. And I'll get on to doing all the other stuff, and I'll cover operation 2 in a minute. Talk to you later.